What's going on, everybody? It's Alex from Everything for iPod, and today I have a review of the Mophie Juice Pack Helium charging case for the iPhone 5. This case advertises that it can give you an extra 80% of battery life during your day on your iPhone 5, which is very important because if you don't already know, in my opinion, the iPhone 5 has one of the worst battery lives out of all the phones on the market at the moment. Mophie has always been one of the most trusted brands for battery cases, and the reason is because it provides such a great battery life and also remains so stylish and thin that you don't really notice it's on your phone all the time. So as you can see, as I give you a quick tour around the case, you have a battery indicator and switch on the back, micro USB on the bottom, as well as a headphone jack cutout. You also have your lightning connector on the inside and some speaker and microphone pass-throughs. You also have all your cutouts for your volume buttons, and as you can see, it is a two-piece case. So the top portion is actually where the battery is housed, and the bottom portion is actually where the connector is housed, and they communicate with each other through these two little pins. So it's really neat how Mophie went about that. Although it is a two-piece case, it's actually a snap-in case. So you snap your phone into the top portion, and then slide the second portion into place, and you're good to go. You will have your extra battery for the whole day. And as you can see, it really doesn't add that much bulk to your phone. It's still very easy to use, and the curves of the case actually remind me a lot of the iPhone 3G and 3GS. Before we go into battery life, I just want to show you the design of the case. It does have a really nice soft touch finish, and it does have a slight lay on the table design. There's no lip actually going over the screen, but if you place it down the screen first, you should be fine. It might not be best for drops screen facing first, but the good news is because it doesn't actually go over the screen, you will still be able to use any screen protector, including tempered glass screen protectors, on this case without a problem. On the back, you have your camera cutout, which does of course have a black lining in it, and I've had no problems with flashback issues or any loss of quality taking photos. Towards the bottom of the case, you have your battery indicators. So as you can see, there's this one button on the left, and if you push that, it will tell you how much battery you have left. As you can see, I have 1 bar out of 4 of battery, and if I want to start charging my phone, I just flick that switch to the green position, and my phone will start charging just as it would if I was connected to the wall outlet. Like I said earlier, Mophie advertises that you can add an additional 80% of battery life to your phone. Now, whether or not that's true, that really depends on what kind of user you are. Personally, I kill my iPhone's battery normally very fast. I always have tons of apps running, play music all the time, and at the same time, I have a ton of jailbreak tweaks running on my phone. After about 2 weeks of using this case, I can say that pretty much every time I used it, I was able to get 80% of battery life added to my phone or better. It really depends on when you kick the extra battery into gear, as the iPhone actually charges much more efficiently when you start charging at, let's say, less than 20%, rather than trying to keep your phone at 100% at all times. So you will definitely get much better performance out of this case if you let your iPhone's battery drain first down to about 20%, then kick the case's battery into gear and let it try to get up to 100. That will give you a lot more power than switching on the case right as you leave the house and trying to keep your phone at a steady 100 until the case runs out of power. To actually charge the case, you use the included micro USB cable and plug that right into the bottom of the case, and you can either charge the case and your phone separately, or actually just keep your phone in the case and charge both simultaneously using the one single micro USB cable. There are a few cons with this case, despite the excellent battery life. One is that the micro USB port on the bottom actually only supports charging. You can't sync using it, so you actually have to remove the bottom piece and use the lightning port to sync to iTunes. So there is wireless syncing and iCloud now, so if you use that, you should be covered. However, if you do want to still sync your phone using iTunes, you do have to remove the bottom piece and use the lightning connector. The other flaw with this case is not really so much Mophie's fault as it is the bad positioning of the headphone jack, but it makes it very difficult to get any headphones in. The only headphones that will really fit inside of that connector is actually the Apple headphones. So they have included this little headphone adapter, which is a little bit gimmicky when you leave it in the case. So the best bet is actually to leave it connected to your headphones at all times, and that will help you, 1, not lose it, and 2, make sure you always have it when you want to listen to music. So it is a little bit annoying, but you always can remove that bottom piece if you don't want to use the headphone adapter. Like I said, the case is very nice to hold, it feels very natural, and it actually, in my opinion, is easier to hold than the naked iPhone itself. The soft touch feel is a little bit slippery, and you do have to grip your iPhone kind of carefully, and also, if you were wondering, the case does have a 1500 milliamp hour battery versus the iPhone 5's battery, which is actually a little bit lower, coming in at around 1440 milliamp hours. After 2 weeks of using the case, the paint chipped up a little bit around the corners. Personally, that doesn't bother me too much, and I don't think it's a deal breaker not to get this case. While I do think that this is an excellent case if you're looking to add some battery life to your phone, there are a few things you need to know about before you actually go and buy this case and spend $80 on it. I'm not sure whether or not you're going to be able to get this from looking at just pictures, but the picture you're looking at right now is something that Mophie actually put out on their website. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this real well, but where the two portions of the case actually meet and you can see that crease, looks like it goes to right about the bottom of the screen. Whereas I noticed on my case, it actually only lines up with about halfway to the home button. With a little bit of research, I was able to actually figure out that there are two versions of this case. One that is sold exclusively in Apple, which is the one I got, and then a second one which all other stores are going to be carrying, such as the Mophie online store and Best Buy. Like I showed you earlier, the top portion of my case is actually a snap-in case, but Mophie used to make sliding cases where both the top and the bottom would slide over the phone. Because the iPhone 5 has been known to scratch so easily, Apple has actually announced that they will only be selling snap-in cases in their retail stores. So how Mophie got around this was actually making two versions, one snap-in version for the iPhone 5 that will be sold in Apple stores, and then a slide-in version which they originally designed that will be sold in every other store. Why Mophie couldn't just make one snap-in version to sell in all stores, I'm not really sure, but I would recommend either buying this case in an Apple retail store or on Apple's online store to avoid a few issues, which I'll explain right now. The first issue is the one Apple's worried about themselves. They know the device they make the best, and they know that a sliding case can cause scratching issues. So if a snap-in case will avoid scratching, you probably should go with the snap-in one available from Apple. The second issue is actually that the sliding case has had some charging and fit issues where the case actually hasn't been working properly. So if you can get to an Apple store or even to apple.com and order this case, you are definitely better off. Or just when you receive the case, make sure you check and see which version you have. If I confused you at all, I'm extremely sorry, but the one you're looking at now is actually the bad version. I'm not sure if you can tell or not, but the top portion actually has little dots on the inside, and it also looks like it has a much bigger connector coming out of the top portion of the case. And then this one right here, the connections look a lot simpler, and this is the one you can find in Apple. This is the one you want. If you get the other one, return it and try to get this one, because this version of the case, which is the one sold at Apple, is much better. I'll leave links to where you can pick the Mophie Juice Pack Helium up down in the description, specifically the Apple version in case you want to get that one, which I definitely, again, recommend. I just want to stress that. And also, if you're looking for something with a little more juice, which has a 1700 milliamp battery, you can check out the Mophie Juice Pack Air, which I'll also link down in the description. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future content. Thanks, and I'll catch you in my next video.